I'm good.
A-okay.
Okay, so my name is Mr. Hiddle. I'm Tyler's dad. I'm an electrical engineer. We're here to do safety training. Primarily we focus on kind of general safety. Then we'll talk a little bit about machine shop. I know that I see some normal faces. I see some familiar faces. And from last year, so you guys probably have heard some of this before. Those that haven't, you guys can use those people as resources when you're trying to find things out and learn some stuff. So what we thought we'd do is we start out with general safety. We put these kind of in an order that we'll go down through here today. We'll do a general safety quiz. The overall format is we're going to talk about a subject, and then we'll have you take a test right then and there, okay? And then we'll turn in the test, we'll correct them. He's been doing a really good job of staying up with the test. We'll correct them, and if you miss any or there are any questions or something, I think Kaiwa was taking people out in the hall talking about mistakes that were made. And then we come back in. Somebody can do that, yeah. Come back in, then we go through the next one, mill, hand drill, so on. So by the end, we'll have taken 6 tests, okay? And it takes a little while to do this, but when we're done with it, what happens is you're eligible then to go into the shop. And when I say shop, it's a machine shop. Terry's Machine Shop is down in Mukilteo, and we'll be able to take 9 people at a time with a mentor. And we'll be able to do, or a couple mentors, and we'll be able to work on the heavy machinery there. We'll be talking about what the machinery is. So, any questions? Okay, go.
So if we're signing up for build times, when do we do that? You mean, what time should we go down to the shop? Yeah, like for people who haven't signed up. Oh, Mrs. T knows that. There is a sign-up sheet for the mentors. I don't know about the students yet. Yeah. And so, don't quote me on this, but it's like next weekend.
13th, 19th, 20th.
Okay. And so that's kind of the practical part of it. That's when we're going to do hands-on, and the project is what, Tyler?
Make a 6-sided die.
Oh, okay. So, all right. Going through the general safety stuff.
No!
General safety stuff. So the first thing that we can talk about is like when you're working on this heavy duty equipment that has spinning parts on it, things that we really need to watch out is for like long hair, because that's too many people. That's got to be long hair.
We hit Draven yesterday, so
here's
a good example.
Tie it back, somehow secure it behind your hand. Someone mentioned a tie wrap or whatever.
Zip tie.
Yeah, zip tie.
Those rubber bands.
But somehow you need to pull your hair back so that when you bend forward or you're leaning forward, you don't.
So your hair doesn't go into the spinning blade
and
and tear your head off, or just your hair off. I'm sorry.
The other things that are a little bit obvious is everybody wears hoodies. Lots of people wear hoodies and stuff. You got the strings that hang down. Great candidate for getting strangled, right? So you want to make sure that if you have a hoodie and you got strings on it, you remove those or you tuck them inside, right? Baggy clothes, pretty much of any kind, can get you into trouble. If you have really baggy sleeves or baggy shirt or something like that, anything that get caught by the machine. Yeah. And then headphones.
It's also a hoodie.
It's also double danger.
Yeah, headphones, earbuds,
Headphones. Headphones.
3 in 1.
Lando's kind of the
Don't be Lando.
Poster child for things not to wear white pants.
Don't wear white pants. Never wear white pants.
Yeah, so all of those things are really important around the heavy equipment.
Oil is really dark and stainy.
They won't be white anymore.
So definitely be black instead of white.
That's right. Yeah. So what else do we got here? This is pretty obvious. We have yield safety glasses, right? This is like the #2 thing on our list. Your eyes are important. We need to keep them around. So when you're in the machine shop, you can wear glasses like that or like this. The other's not like that yet. But anyway, I think 2910 has some glasses, right? That we have in a box, and they're quite usable. They do have a tendency to get kind of scraped up. You can kind of see
It's miserable when they're scraped up.
And it makes them a little bit harder to see. But if you guys want, and I would recommend this, but if you want, go get a pair of safety glasses. You think you're going to be at the shop. Otherwise, you can use the ones that are 2910s. But then you're in charge. Yeah, you're in charge of making them, not all scratched up and everything else. And you don't have to depend on someone else to keep them clean for you. It's kind of a nice thing to do. All right, if you do get hurt at the shop, it does happen. You can do everything from get a metal shaving splinter to
losing a finger.
Yeah,
or your hand.
Something a lot more serious. If you do get hurt of any kind, you need to talk to a mentor, and the mentor will talk to them to see if she's around. But you've got to tell a mentor. Telling another student or Tyler is not going to work. You need to tell them to talk to a mentor, because we've been kind of coached and trained on how to manage those situations when someone gets hurt. Okay. Some general comments about machine safety and stuff. If you're going to step away from a piece of machinery for a while, you might have it set up, you might have your piece of metal in there and stuff. Well, you really don't want to do that. I mean, if you're going to be gone for like an hour, you want to probably take it apart and clean up, okay? Because someone that's coming up to the machine or whatever is going to take a look at that and they're going to go, oh, well, I'll just disregard this and I'll pull it and throw it away, which in case is a bad thing for you, right? Or they might think it's just a piece of scrap metal. They might do some work on it, and also you could end up in a situation where they don't use the machine because there's something on it, so then they can't use it, so because the machine's kind of tied up. So you need to take your project off the machine and then kind of clean it behind yourself. And keeping the shop clean is a really important thing. Basically, when we go to the shop, every time we're there, we make sure that it's better than we left it. Leave it better than we found it. And so, Terry's Machine Shop, they're very fastidious about keeping everything in its place, making sure that everything's swept up.
Fastidious?
Fastidious.
I don't even know that word.
It's a real fancy one. But anyway,
of course.
So when you're there, before we leave every time, we clean up. I mean, the people that have been around know that it's a really important part of the job. I mean, taking out the trash if you made a mess or anything is kind of part of the duty there too. So make sure that we're welcome back next time by cleaning up and taking care of all the mess that we did. Okay. When you're using a piece of equipment, regardless of what it is, you need to make sure that you're paying attention to what you're doing. When someone's behind you talking or someone's distracting you, it's really not very safe. So when, say Tyler was using a bandsaw, I wouldn't go up behind him and say, "Hey Tyler, what do you want for dinner?" Or
I want a sandwich.
Yeah, right. I want a hot dog, or something. But anyway, so I think that what you have to do is you have to kind of respect the person using the tools and the machines, and make sure that you don't distract them while they're doing it, so that they have an opportunity to pay attention to what they're doing.
And to not cut their finger off.
You don't want to listen to music. You don't want to do anything, because this is really powerful and scary stuff. You don't want to lose. Yeah.
When you see the machines running, you'll be scared.
Yeah. And
the bandsaw especially is a very loud and scary machine.
I had what?
What?
You said Lando had.
Oh no, I was gonna say Lando had. Good point. Here's the blade.
What?
And here's the blade. Or something. There's all kinds of things with blades there. Yeah. And what you're doing is you want to make sure that if you're pushing a piece of metal into the blade, you don't want to have your fingers like this. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that it's kind of common sense stuff. But you want to make sure that wherever you're going to be pushing this, that you have your fingers away from the blade, the path of the blade. Okay, so like that. All right.
We don't want this.
That's right. And as a general rule of thumb, okay, you want to be 3 inches. You want to be 3 inches away.
That is a terrible pun.
You want to be 3 inches away. Okay, I'll write that down from the blade. All right.
3 is the magic number.
Yeah, 3. That would come up sometime during a quiz. So that's kind of an important thing though. If you're looking at, anytime you're coming toward a blade or something, you want to make sure that you're 3 inches away, and that goes for a drill or anything like that.
Are you just turning around?
I kind of jumped a little bit.
Okay.
From a logical sense.
So, on some of the tools that we have, there are guards. On the blade, let's say here's your table of 3D drawing. Here's your blade. The guard would be like, if you're doing this is the bandsaw and you've got your piece here, you'd have the guard be like here. It's to make it so the blade doesn't flex, because it kind of holds it in place. So the only place that it's not like held in place is at the point where you're cutting. Yeah, and you want the guard to be within about an inch away from the material you're cutting, so it doesn't like flex, break, kill someone. Yeah. But anything flexing is bad. Flexing is generally a bad thing.
Unless it's supposed to flex, like it's an arm.
Oh, and also, this seems like a no-doubt one, but if you're going to make adjustments to the bandsaw, turn it off first. Because if you've got your blade of angry, sharp teeth, like gratuitously sharper as you went along, but you don't want this to be moving really fast while you're trying to make adjustments, because that's just kind of terrifying. So yeah, turn it off before. There'll be a big red stop button on most of the tools, otherwise there'll be a switch. And then so hit the big red stop button or the switch. I know. See, here's my happy face. What's up?
So is most of this just common sense kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you have your wits about you, you'll be fine.
A lot of people don't. That's why we have to go over this.
That's why this is specific to any one machine, so it's just
Yeah, the bandsaw is just a good example for this. Okay, so here's something that I have to tell people every freaking year. So does anyone know what pliers are?
Yeah,
Are pliers a hammer?
no.
Then don't use pliers like a hammer. Does anyone know what a vice grip is?
Yes.
Are vice grips a hammer?
No.
Then don't use them as a hammer. Is a screwdriver a chisel?
No.
Yes.
Then don't use it as a chisel. Okay, I think we've got that. Okay, so let's say you have a drill bit and then it breaks. Don't just put it back in the box like it's all right. Put it and tell one of the mentors that it broke. We're not going to hate you unless you were using like it was a screwdriver that broke and you were using it as a chisel.
And then we won't hate you. We'll just.
Well, then we'll just wag our finger at you scornfully.
That's for kind of two reasons. One reason that you don't want to do that is, it's sometimes when something breaks, it becomes an unsafe tool, right? So someone can come along behind you and you can get hurt, right? And the other reason is if it's not identified as a broken tool, then
you won't know to need it.
And then when we go to use it,
there
won't be one there.
Yeah, we'll have to go buy another one.
Yeah, so then we'll be able to buy one before we need it, and it makes it a lot nicer that way.
My eyes big, beautiful.
Okay.
I'll do excessive pressure.
Yeah, you do pressure.
Okay, so let's say you're sanding something, and there's like a little mark in it, and it won't come out. The answer is no. You're not supposed to just sand harder. No, you're obviously not using the right tool for the job. Find a different tool for it that is better for it. Yeah. Dad, do you want to say something now?
Oh, yeah. One thing that it's kind of a general safety thing is if you see something that looks dangerous, go ahead and tell a mentor. Okay. If you see an electrical wire that's kind of frayed or something that looks like it could be dangerous, kind of regardless of what if you're not really sure. Okay. Go ahead and tell a mentor because mentors are going to be looking out for those kinds of things. You know, looking out for dangerous tools, dangerous situations and stuff. But it's everybody's job to kind of keep on the alert for things that look dangerous. Okay, so definitely saw a mentor. This looks like it could cause a problem.
I'm working on it. Okay, so if things are on fire, or if things are flammable, like oil-soaked rags, or I don't know, mostly oil-soaked rags and stuff, you do not put them in the normal trash can. There are special red cans that have lids that can close and seal off to stop things from firing. They're called combustible waste cans. You put anything that's flammable into those cans. So when they're on fire, you can just kind of close them and then the fire will stop being on fire. It'll stop being existent. Because fire is not good.
I think the only place we'll come up against the oils and stuff is that terries we might use some kind of coolant.
Yeah.
Doing a drill or drilling something. You apply coolant to it, it kind of distributes the heat a little bit, and you might have a rag that gets oily when you clean up. So that's probably the only time we'll end up with fire situation. Okay, yeah, no, it's kind of in another in general thing. We're going to learn about how to use these tools right here, okay? The mill, hand drill, drill press, bandsaw, and belt sander, okay? And we picked those out for a very particular reason. Those are the tools, the ones that we'll be
These are the important ones.
Yeah. We're not going to be using any other tools, okay? Unless you're trained by a mentor, like right then, okay?
Like for a lathe or anything.
So whatever you do, I mean, you're going to be kind of shadowed by a mentor where you're using this equipment, no matter what. But you wouldn't want to run off, or you wouldn't want to go in a different area of the shop and start using a piece of equipment that you weren't trained on and you weren't authorized to use, okay? A lot of really dangerous things in there that you can get away with. So,
it's a screaming little death trap.
Yeah, so when we're going to take a tour of the shop, and we'll also be using the mill and probably the bandsaw. Yeah. And what we'll do is you'll get a feel for where all the tools are.
Maybe.
In each one. Yeah. Not really. Okay. So those will be the things you'll be authorized to use on anything else. Probably not use.
Nope.
Is there any other things that we want down here? Yeah. One thing, and I kind of touched on this briefly, is if there's something that looks like someone's project, we're going to be divided into sub-teams. And each sub-team will be working on some aspect of the robot. Someone might be working on the arm, someone might be working on the drive train. And so you don't really know what everybody else is working on. There'll be pieces of little widgets and stuff that people will be working on that aren't on your sub-team. And the idea here is to just respect those people's work. You don't know, you see something, is that a piece of scrap metal, or is it what they're trying to make? It might be completed and it still looks like scrap metal. So anyway, so if you see something,
like a perfect cube.
If you see something sitting around, it's like a dice. That might be someone's work. So go ahead and make sure that it's a piece of scrap or something you can use, because it might be someone's project that they spent a couple hours making. So especially if you see something on a table,
yeah.
You're not supposed to leave it there, but say you see something on a table. When I say table, most of these pieces of equipment, the mill saw, the bandsaw, the bandsaw, they have what we call a table. It's where the metal will sit on. And that's, if someone makes a mistake and leaves their project on there, it'd be kind of sad to set the whole thing back. So that's just a kind of a courtesy thing to the students. I think we might have covered most everything. Oh, Tyler, you can do the lifting.
Okay. So,
show us with a chair.
Who has done weight training? Who knows how to power clean?
You.
I know. But I know how to incorrectly power clean. This is how you incorrectly lift something. No. Bad. So you go like this. Imagine this weighs 120 pounds. You don't want to go... My spine is now broken.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how you lift correctly. And it's important. It's not a waste of time to know how to lift. Because hurtbacks means not as happy in shop, which means less productive, which means no robot.
Yeah.
So are we gonna do lifting there often or something?
Lifting heavy things like the robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the robots.
The root.
Was it
So
130?
like at the end of the year, we're gonna have really ripped legs or something.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. So, kind of going back to the safety glasses issue.
Wear them.
Yeah, we'll be wearing safety glasses an awful lot.
Here's a list of places you might wear safety glasses. In the pits, at the competition, on the shop floor, while running the robot, while others indoors room during build, and any otherwise operating any tool.
That's right.
Those are some possible places you might wear safety glasses, or you have to wear safety glasses.
That's right. And for those of you that may not be familiar with the pits, that's kind of the location where you actually work on the robot during competition.
It's a 10 by 10 square that we have to make our robot fix our robot in. It's very, very tight.
So yeah, it is really tight, and there's a lot of people in there, and the robot's right there, and even I was
We're climbing over each other.
working with some electrical things almost.
Quite literally.
I actually hit my safety glasses on
Like
something
I'm crawling
that was
under people to try to get to the other side.
So it is.
It's
really
crowded.
important. It is really important. Even here, if we're doing some work, it's not just flying pieces of metal and stuff we need to worry about. It's also, getting poked in the eye by a piece of metal that's attached to the robot or something. It's kind of weird the way it's so easy to get hurt.
Dad, are you allowed? Am I allowed to be in the shop without a mentor?
No, you're not going to even go there if you don't have a mentor. Good. You'll be one of 9 students, so
You'll be ostracized.
Yeah,
Just go to Taco Bell.
Yeah, you won't.
Oh my god, I love Taco Bell. I was shown there last
No more Fred Jack.
Yeah, we might find ourselves in situations where we're going to meet at the shop at a particular time, and we're all kind of waiting, and the mentor's going to be there. Wait outside. Let's just wait outside to go inside, because the doors actually might be open if it's a machine shop, but you probably want to wait until the mentor's there so you can all go in together. Yeah.
You said one of 9 people. Does that mean out of like the 50 people in robotics, only 9 people live in robotics?
At a time.
Oh God.
Yeah. It doesn't make a lot of sense to have any more in there because we're not going to be actually building the robot.
There are 2 mills that we can use.
Yeah.
That's maybe 2 people per thing, and then Ben sounds like maybe 2 people.
Yeah. So
It's getting pretty close to like you can't do much more past 9.
That means we're going to be looking pretty instead of speaking with 1,000.
yeah, because if you have that number of students there, then you'd be having
You're doing
a
stuff the
lot
entire
of
time.
people would be just standing around. So take small groups there. The other thing, the other reason is Terry, the owner of the machine shop. Roger.
Roger.
He has
He owns
told
Terry's
us.
Machine
He has
Shop.
told us that you can have only 9 students in there. So that's.
That's a little.
That's
so
it.
we have to figure that out. Okay. So at the end of the day, sweep the floor, make sure all this stuff is where you found it, other than broken stuff. Make sure the mills lays of the tools, the shop supplies are clean. Make sure everything's cleaner than when you started. Make sure there's no just trash lying around. But whatever you do, don't toss all the parts into a box of disorganization +1. I mean, bag of holding maybe, but not a box of disorganization.
It's kind of what you'd expect. I mean, you want to go there. You want to make sure that you clean it and you make it better than it was when you got there. Yeah, we're not going to be taking. We're not going to be taking food in Terry's.
Okay.
Not ever.
Are we talking about this? No, it's over. Okay, so 5 is that. It's kind of dirty.
Okay.
So was this one. This is our most sarcastic question. Okay. If you get hurt, tell a mentor. If you got a splinter, tell a mentor. If you got your finger cut off, definitely tell a mentor.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell a mentor. Tell a mentor, tell a mentor, tell a mentor. Is it a good idea to goof off in the shop?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's a really dangerous environment. We talked a little bit earlier about paying attention.
And if you get 2 strikes, you'll get your butt kicked off the team.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's it. That's a
So
big part of it.
don't be stupid.
Yeah, and the reason it's a strike is because it is so dangerous. And that applies to this room too. When we're building a robot. There's not a lot of room in here. There's lots of stuff to trip over and get hurt, so we don't want to be kind of jumping around and, you know, doing what you know you can do right.
Parkour!
So what we'll do is we believe we've covered everything on here. Okay, we're going to hand out the general safety quizzes. I know there's a couple. There's a pen here. Someone with a pen. But what we'd like to do is go through these and circle the T's or the F's based on notice. Remember to put your name on them. Okay, remember to put your name on them. We're going to be doing it again. This has got the most questions on it. The other one's